Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Say it ain't so, Joe. And I gotta do the graphic. I'm probably gonna be doing this every day for months. That's the slow-moving train wreck that is Joe Biden, about to crash into a re-election of Donald Trump if the neoliberal corporate Democratic Party gets their way. Joe Biden is the conductor of this slow-moving train wreck. Thank you, Colin Tooley, for that fantastic graphic. So, what's really unbelievable, although Mitt Romney has been like rehabilitated since 2012 into the common sense Republican. He's a vulture plutocrat. But remember, like when we were all like, oh my God, Mitt Romney, where do I get my Mitt Romney flip flops? Joe Biden, the story was out 2 days ago in the New York Times or 3 days ago that Joe Biden was for the Hyde Amendment, which bans federal funding for abortions. Bernie Sanders has been against it since it was initiated. So Joe Biden is against the Hyde Amendment 3 days ago. It also came out, Joe Biden had this doozy in the 1970s saying, I don't think that a woman has the sole right to say what should happen to her body. I don't really, for people that want to say, well, this was the 70s. If someone said something ever, I don't care if it's 40 or 50 years ago, I don't think that a woman has the sole right to say what should happen to her body. The person thought that at one point. So why should we think that they are someone that's going to be consistent on women and female reproductive rights? Why should we think this is the guy we want as president to appoint Supreme Court justices? You think that his deal breaker for Supreme Court justices is going to be keeping Roe versus Wade with statements like that? Or with 3 days ago saying, I'm for the Hyde Amendment, which bans federal funding for abortion? But suddenly, Joe Biden now, I think it came out yesterday or today, Joe Biden's against the Hyde Amendment. He's had an epiphany. So let's take a look.
And I've been struggling with the problems that Hyde now presents. If I believe health care is a right, as I do, I can no longer support an amendment that makes that right dependent on someone's zip code.
Kate Bedingfield is Deputy Campaign Manager and Communications Director for the Biden campaign, and we certainly appreciate you coming in to talk to us about this.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So 24 hours ago, Biden was on the record. He was still supporting the Hyde Amendment. Walk us through the anatomy of this decision change. This is a big change of heart.
Well, look, this is not a decision about politics for him. It's a decision about health care. You heard him say last night that Roe is under unprecedented assault in this country. We see Republican-led state legislatures, by the way, following the lead of President.
When did this become an issue about health care for him and not an issue about religion or morality?
It is an issue about health care access. And you heard him say that last night, that Roe is under unprecedented assault. You have Republican-led state legislatures following Donald Trump's lead, by the way, who said that on the campaign trail that women who had abortions should be punished.
Basically, it's no different than Hillary Clinton's spokespeople that would go on TV in 2016 and twist themselves into human pretzels to try and give fake hollow answers for why she's changing her position. And honestly, Jen, I want to be careful here because I'm not a woman, but I don't understand, as a woman, how you're going on national television and defending this man. I don't get that. I really don't. So, what's behind this epiphany? What's behind this epiphany for say it ain't so, Joe? Did somebody jump on the train over the last 5 days and say, Joe, get out of your conductor seat. We gotta talk about this Hyde Amendment thing. Well, apparently that was the case, and it was not only his campaign, but a celebrity that convinced him to change his position. This is from The Atlantic. This was a tense 2 days in Biden's D.C. headquarters. The candidate was caught off guard after an NBC News story published Wednesday morning attempted to nail down where he stood on abortion policy, specifically Hyde. Simone Sanders, one of Biden's senior advisors, former Bernie Sanders press secretary, by the way, confronted him, she confirmed to me Thursday night, telling Biden that he was missing how his position disproportionately affected poor women and women of color without easy access to abortion. Alyssa Milano, the actor who's become a major online presence on issues of women's rights, as well as a friend of the Biden team, spoke by phone Wednesday with Biden's campaign manager, Greg Schultz, telling him that the candidate needed to change. More calls came in, more tough conversations. Oh my God. Oh my God. By the way, I can't really say anything that bad about Alyssa Milano because she has tweeted, not retweeted, but tweeted out our Flint story. She has spoken out about Flint, which is still very much a water crisis. If you want, after this live stream, go check it out. I was on Redacted tonight. Lee Camp, I think, was off this week, so somebody else was filling in for him. I was on Redacted tonight. We talked about the latest news in Flint. The former governor, Rick Snyder, has had his phone seized, his iPad seized, and his computer hard drive seized. So big news in the Flint water crisis. Go check that out, and thank you to Redacted tonight for having me on. So I like Alyssa Milano because she shared our stuff, but can you imagine if it came out in the media that Susan Sarandon called Bernie Sanders' campaign manager and was like, Bernie, you need to change on the Hyde Amendment. Oh my God, the media would be crucifying Bernie Sanders. Crucifying Bernie Sanders. Oh, you're taking your P's and Q's from a Hollywood liberal? So the fact that it takes a celebrity, Alyssa Milano, who, by the way, although I like Alyssa Milano for sharing our Flint stuff and being a champion for Flint, you're wrong to support Joe Biden. If you were a champion of women, I don't know how you could support somebody who once said this, that I don't think a woman has the sole right to say what should happen to her body. That's inconsistent if you are a champion of women, but I digress. So then it takes Simone Sanders, his advisor, who's an African-American woman, to go explain to Joe Biden that the Hyde Amendment is very important because it's not that the government is taking a position on whether abortion is moral or not, but it's a healthcare issue because a lot of poor black women and white women, but poor women, people of color cannot afford abortion. Some of them go kind of do back alley kind of dangerous procedures because they can't afford it. So it's not just it's not a religious issue. It's a health issue. The fact that it takes a black woman high up in your campaign to explain the birds and the bees to Joe Biden kind of shows you this man has a race problem. And I think he's a racist, and I'm just going to say it. Might not get me access to his campaign rallies, but, you know, if you draft the crime bill and you're screaming out, I don't want them near my mother. Well, you're talking about black people without saying black people. And if you're somebody that doesn't understand that being for the Hyde Amendment means you're making it basically impossible for black women and poor white women to get abortions, then you're either a racist or you don't understand race in America, or maybe a mix of both. And yes, he also has a problem with invading people's personal space, which he just did. Jen did a video on it. I think, Jen, was that a week ago or 2 weeks ago at a campaign event? Not like before he announced, but after, where he took a child, put his arms on the child's shoulder, then bent down near the child's hair, and also said some creepy things. So not only is he borrowing Mitt Romney's flip-flops, but he's a political weather vane. A political weather vane. I don't know what to say, folks. The corporate media is not going to call out Joe Biden for being a flip-flopping fucker. They're just not. But I really hope that the media, the independent media, and I also hope that, I don't want to be a man and like mansplain what women should do, but I really hope that enough women come out and women's groups comes out and be like, yeah, we can't have somebody as the Democratic nominee who's kind of shifting and, you know, now just learning about the right positions to take on female reproductive health. No. I mean, obviously he's a servant of Wall Street and fossil fuel companies and big pharma and Silicon Valley and real estate developers, and he was anti-busing and problematic. He's got all sorts of problems. But I don't know, like, do women really want to cheer for someone that it needs to be explained to him the right position to take on abortion? And obviously, he changed his position over the last 48 hours because of political pressure and probably pressure from his donors. And by the way, I mean, it's not really relevant to the 2020 campaign, but at what point do you have to start asking, did Barack Obama fully vet Joe Biden to be his vice president? What was going on there? Did Barack Obama and his campaign not fully know all his previous positions? Just saying.
Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.